This episode of Rookie Hunter is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Become a member, join the Lesson One Club, and attend their annual convention, Sheep Show, Reno, Nevada in 2020. For more information, go to wildsheepfoundation.org. Hey, welcome to episode 105. How you guys doing? Today on the show, Kelly and I are getting closer to our August sheep hunt. I think we're just shy of 3 months away here, which is going to creep up on us quickly. This episode is very much focused around gear. We're going to start off by talking about beer, one of the things we very much enjoy. And we're going to shift into tents. We've got some new shelters ready to rock and roll. And from there, we're going to be talking about backpacks and what we're going to be bringing with us, leaving behind, targets for weight, what we're going to share, and deciding what is important and what is not. I'll tell you one thing that I think is going to be important on this trip, and it's the Sitka Jetstream vest. You've probably heard us talk about the Jetstream jacket. Well, this is the vest version of that for cooler temperatures, be it in the spring, even cooler nights in the summertime. And this is going to be the vest that I bring along as an in-between season type thing when I don't want to pack the entire jacket with me. This is obviously a great wind stopper, just a little bit of extra added warmth and comfort on any of those cooler, windier days. So that's going to be in my pack. Kelly's going to be bringing his along too. For all of our Sitka gear, the full lineup is on our website, which is theRookieHunter.com. Click on the gear tab. There's one for myself and one for Kelly. You can see everything there. And if you want to check something out further, just click on the photo and it'll take you right over to the Sitka website. I was sent a pretty disturbing video of a sheep with Movi. If you've ever seen someone with pneumonia or a horrible cold, well, it's like that, and man, it's hard to watch. So that is why organizations like the Wild Sheep Foundation really matter, and disease is one of their main focuses. So if you haven't become a member, please go to wildsheepfoundation.org and sign yourself up. Become a member of the Less Than One Club and chip in where you can. Because yeah, when you see stuff like that, it's one thing to hear about it, but to actually see it and hear it is it's heart-wrenching. Before we get into this episode, make sure to go to northarmknives.com, get yourself a blade. Well, let's get into this one. Sit back, relax, crack a cold beer, and enjoy episode 105 with me and Kelly. Mr. Molnar,
what's up?
How you doing?
Pretty good. Feels like summer.
Yeah, it definitely does, man. This weekend was pretty nice. You went to Kelowna. How many years have they done this now? 4th or 5th year? Or is it even longer than that?
I think it's 3rd or 4th year. It's the Gibbons Whistler Great Okanagan Beer Fest. And they do it downtown by the Delta Grand there. And there's a lagoon back there with stage kind of in the middle of the water, amphitheater. I don't know how many vendors were there. I want to say like 70-ish, somewhere in there. But they all have their own tents.
Yeah.
And then you get this little mug that's like, I don't know, 50 milliliters or 100 milliliters. I don't know which. Probably should figure that out.
Yeah.
Be better prepared for next year. But yeah. And then you just, get tokens and you go have fun.
Sweet.
Good music. Good food.
Yeah, it was 32 degrees on Saturday.
Yeah, and it was smoking hot too. I remembered to put some sunscreen on because nobody has the pre-tan yet.
Yeah.
It's pretty early. This was like the first summer weekend, I feel like.
Totally.
Yeah, it was cool.
Nice.
Second year now.
Any new beers that you like?
What was my favorite beer? I don't know, man. Like there's a lot of good beers. I feel like all of them are good.
Once you've tried 10, they all just start tasting like beer.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Twin Sails tent, which you picked up some Twin Sails.
Yeah.
Especially in the sun. Dat Juice is what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. And then I always like to see Four Winds there.
Nice.
Steel and Oak. Phillips was there. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just endless. Everywhere you turn. And you can't try them all. I tried because each tent has about 2 or 3 different beer.
Yeah.
Usually they serve kind of opposites. So you can either have like a pale ale or a wheat beer. And then on the other hand, they'll have like a blueberry sour or something.
Right.
So they're trying to cover a couple of spectrums.
Yeah.
And then they want to hit like not just all the guys there. Like a lot of the women are looking for ciders or more that sour, that fruity.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the group we were with, all the girls would go to like, there's a cider tent every few tents. So they were going that route. But
nice.
Yeah, there's some good variety there for a beer fest.
Yeah, I went to the first 2 or 3. I can't remember if I went last year or not, but yeah, it's good times.
Yeah. And I don't know, it seems to get better each year. It's a perfect location.
Yeah.
And I think like if I think back to like years ago, I think it's a different fest now. Like it's a different group that's putting it on.
Oh, okay.
They do a pretty good job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, while you were guzzling beer in the hot sun, I had to drive down to the good old United States of America to Oroville, Washington to pick up some new additions to the family.
Yeah.
We got some Hilleberg tents.
Yeah.
We got the Nalo 2 GT and Kadam 3 GT.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them yet, but I saw the pictures. Stoked to try it.
Yeah, man. Do you want to go through the process of choosing these? Because it was hard, man. We narrowed it down to like a couple of 2-man options and a couple of 3-man options. So,
and even some 4-man.
Yeah, we were going that way for a bit too, and narrowed it down to the 3 and the 2. But
because I think with the 3, like with the bigger tent, we actually narrowed it down to 2 options, and one was a 4 and one was a 3.
Yeah. So do you want to go through the thinking behind these two? Let's start with the 2-man, because there's 2 options there, and it basically come down to a coin flip. But what was the option 2 for that one?
The Alac 2-man, which if you read and talk to sheep hunters, I think that Alac dome tent is always one of the top 2 tents on their list if you want a 2-man.
Yeah. And
that's good for, a solo hunt or if you've got a couple guys. So I was always kind of leaning in that direction just because of the strength of the dome tent and the ease of setting up dome tents. You can kind of put them anywhere.
For sure.
And I was also thinking about, I don't mind that 2 side door setup with the 2 vestibules on each side, but it is more of a skinny vestibule. It's more of a personal one for you, right? As opposed to a big.
Yeah. It's good. Well, you can't get everything in one tent is the thing. It's like, it's not ideal as far as like getting yourself organized and ready and everything like that. It's just sort of, you can huck your pack out there and it's going to stay dry in your boots. And that's kind of all you get with that.
So with the Nalo, I think in terms of like sleeping space, these 2 are kind of similar, like the square of the inner tent. But with the Nalo, you get that tunnel style with the GT vestibule at the back, which even if we have to like take turns, right? Like it's your turn to get ready. It's almost like you're going to the change room, right?
Yeah, it's surprisingly big, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not shocked, but I was definitely surprised by it.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, man, is you can open up the vestibule in 2 ways. So the vestibule is your entrance to the tent. So you can open up the side of it and have that wide open, or you could just have it open like a crack. And then if you go and you're looking from the very front of the tent, there's also like the dome shape. You can open that all the way up and roll that up too.
Yeah.
So you could have one guy glassing out one side, one guy looking out the other. And the nice thing is too, is like 2 people could easily sit in there and you could be glassing, you could cook, you can do all kinds of stuff. So if you're stuck in a tent because of shitty weather, at least you have another option for hanging out. The other cool thing is, man, which I didn't know about, with that same idea in mind, you can unclip the inner tent, push it back, and you have even more space,
right?
Which is sort of like vestibule. So it's you're on bare ground, but you could have easily like 3-4 people hanging out in there if you want to just push the inner tent out of the way, and it's pretty cool that way too. So pretty versatile. And then the other, so you could camp with just the outer tent and treat it like we do with the teepee, and it's just bare ground. So you would have to bring a ground sheet to put your stuff on, or you could just use the inner tent too, but it's water resistant and not waterproof. So you're kind of risking things that way.
Right.
So yeah, pretty versatile, man.
Yeah. So I think we always kind of had those 2 as our 2-man options, right?
Yeah.
The Alac and the Nalo 2 GT. The Nalo 2 GT is actually lighter, which is a bonus. I think it's like 6'7" or
something like that. I can pull up the numbers if we want, but
yeah, and the Alac is a little heavier. I think maybe for the Alac, and the reason I lean that way is just like if it came down to nothing but strength, and I think they're all super strong, which is kind of why it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
if it really came down to like the structural integrity of the tent, I just think the dome has a little bit of an edge, just the nature of the design. But it's not that I'm worried about the Nalo at all. It's just
No, I don't
that's
think there's
just,
anything to be worried about. The more red, it's like people, I was reading the stuff they've been in, and all of those tents, they'll say that they're only good for like this type of like X type of weather, but people say that they've had them in way worse conditions in snow. And so I think like any tent you choose from Hilleberg is going to be pretty bomb proof, man. And then I guess the other thing too is with the Nalo 2, we're probably not going to be bringing that one sheep hunt. There's most likely always going to be 3 of us going on that type of trip. So that was another thing. But basically it came down to
unless we go 4 and we bring 2 tents.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, it's coin toss on that one, but I think I don't know. I think that vestibule is going to serve us well. Yeah.
Cool. And then the other one.
Yeah, Kadam.
That's the big guy.
Yeah, it's huge.
Nice. So that one, we narrowed it down to the Nalo 4 GT or the Kadam 3 GT.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, the Nalo 4 would have given us a little more shoulder room across the width.
Yeah.
But you only get the one vestibule similar to the Nalo 2.
Yeah.
And it kind of has that steep drop off on the foot side, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with the Kadam, you get more of a flat roof right across.
Yeah.
And then, where your feet are, you don't get that slanted roof. So you can kind of sit on both ends of the tent if we have to, if we're in there playing cards or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 vestibules. So you get one on the front and a little one on the back. And you can sit in there and glass from the back or whatever too. So.
Yeah. And it's nice if you got 3 guys in a tent, then 2 guys can sort of claim the bigger vestibule exit, and then the other guy can go out the back side, because that way you're just not tripping over each other if you have to piss in the middle of the night. I think that was kind of the deal breaker for that tent, was just to have the 2 doors and the extra vestibule space out the back. So
yeah, that flat roof is huge too.
Yeah.
Just so we could kind of spread out in there and sit.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the teepee, the Kafaru teepee, when we went up there, it was cool to come back. And you hit the hay pretty quick because you're so tired, but you still have a bit of a meeting after. And
hang out for a bit.
And,
yeah, vodka and Crystal Light, and then call it a night.
Yeah. Well, we can get into the pack list too, but I think I'm actually cutting that right out.
Yeah, well, we got a cooler at the plane site, so
there's that
bottle of scotch is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And we leave that down there, and when we come back,
maybe some Black Hills Nota Bene or something in there too.
Yeah,
some local wine.
Yeah. So it's either victory booze or drink your sorrows away. Yeah. So yeah, man, the tents are they're super easy to set up. Ashley was there with me, so she's helped me to run all the poles through and everything. You could easily do it with one person. It's no problem. It's quick. Basically, what you do is you stake the back corner. So there's 1 stake in each corner. You put the poles through. So in the Nalo, there's 3, and then in the Kadam, there's 4. And then so once you got all the poles run through, you go to the front of the vestibule, pull it forward, and the whole tent just pops up as you pull it forward.
Yeah,
you
like a slinky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stake the front too, and then basically it's standing at that point. And you could go, that's all I did in those photos I took. You'll notice that the Kadam was pretty loose. That's not how you want it, but it was just like, I want to set these up and have a look at them.
And it probably feel a little bigger even when it's all like pulled out.
Yeah, for sure. You want it taut, but not like stretching and ruining the fabrics. Obviously, you know when it's at that point.
Yeah.
And then you have all the guy lines off of all the various points throughout the tent. And so, yeah, if you set all that stuff up, man, you could pretty much go in any type of weather in that thing. I'm
just going to hang out at base camp.
Yeah.
Mitch Hedberg. He just wants to go to Everest to hang out at base camp.
Yeah. Pretty. I don't know, man. When we set it up, it's like, damn, I want to camp out and just sleep up here. But
get a fire.
Yeah.
Bring a book.
Yeah. The only thing both Ashley and I noticed was that you really need to keep an eye on the guy wires, because you don't really see them. And as you're doing circles around the tent, it's easy to catch your foot on them. And that's the last thing you want to do is fucking rip one of those off, even though it's pretty strong. But the conclusion that we came to was that you just need to go around, throw all the guy wires on top as you're setting it up, so nothing's kind of hanging in the grass where you can't see it. And then, just make sure all that stuff is pushed out of the way so you're not tripping all over everything. And I think the way that Hilleberg instructs you to do it is from your knees, so nothing standing up. And I think you
Mhm.
avoid tripping on shit that way if you're just working from your
Yeah.
knees. Makes sense. So
I seem to remember them. I think they mentioned to tie stuff to your bag too, like your
oh yeah,
extra bags or even the tent or whatever.
actually the
blown
tent
away.
they tell you to tie that off and then tie all your extra bags off to it too, because I think it was on Joe Rogan. There was a guy who did an expedition across
Antarctica or something.
yeah, that's what he's saying, man. If he lost his tent,
You're
game
done.
over. And I think he almost lost it once, man.
Hmm.
So yeah, tying that shit off is pretty important in crazy weather. But with your all your stuff sacks and that for your poles and your pegs and stuff like that, you don't want to be losing that stuff either. So
Mhm.
tie it all off.
Or you don't want it to parachute and sail away with your pack.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be boulder on it.
Yeah, man. And then it all tears down pretty easy. You can fold it up with the poles in it, or you can sort of just like, roughly fold it up and stuff it into the bag. It doesn't really have to be done in any certain way.
Mhm.
I think it's good to sort of fold everything over. Again, there's all those guy wire lines and stuff that it's better if you just kind of put everything into the middle and then fold it up that way and then stuff it into the bag so you're not pulling out a mess of shit when you take it out the next time.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I've had both of them in the pack and have been going around with those. They feel good, man. They smash down pretty small into the bottom of the pack. I sort of just tamped them down with my foot and
Cool.
should be good. Between 3 guys and 1 Hilleberg, it'll be no problem at all.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I feel good to check that off the list.
That was kind of the only real like essential thing that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to roll.
Yep.
More or less, but brings me to the next topic, which is getting our pack sorted out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Trying to cut some weight.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can argue for the importance of almost every item, but
Oh, yeah, you definitely can.
it seems like, and I think Jason Harrison mentioned this at one point, it's once you get past, I can't remember what the weight was. I want to say 60 pounds. Each like 5 or 10 pounds above that becomes like a much larger proportional increase to your knees and your joints. It's not just the, like an equivalent 10 pounds of extra. It's actually, it starts becoming exponential.
Right.
So just from like being able to go out there and have fun and not, damage yourself or hurt yourself or whatever, it's like, do I really need this in my bag? And if you can keep your weight to like 60, 65 pounds, like that's what I'm trying to hit.
Yeah.
Not including your gun.
Yeah. I do my daily morning hike with the pack, and most people don't really say much about it, but you get the odd person that's curious about it, right? So I ran into this group. They were obviously like bird watchers this morning. And then they're like, hey, we're all placing bets on what you're doing with a big backpack on such a short trip. I'm like, well, I'm training for a trip up north. And they're just asking me a bunch of questions about it and thought it was pretty awesome. And then one of them says, you should only be carrying a third of your weight and you don't look like a very big guy. And my pack's at 50 pounds right now. So I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty much at that point right now, but I still got another 15 to go in there. So
Yep.
anyways, it's kind of funny chatting with these old folks.
Yeah.
Super curious, but that's probably not a bad rule of thumb, really.
Yeah, a third is
30
pretty
your
good.
weight. Yeah.
That ends up being about the same.
Yep. So what's in your pack, Cal? I have a mental idea of what I'm doing, but I have not adjusted the list yet. You've been working on it though.
Well, mountain hauler pack.
Yep.
With the Sitka dry bag, and then I've got another dry bag or 2 that I'm going to throw in there. They're the ultralight Sea to Summit ones.
Yeah, that's what I got
They
too.
weigh like nothing, and so many uses for those when you're out there.
Oh man, they're the best.
Trekking poles I don't count them as weighing anything because I'm going to be putting them in my hands. And it is one thing that I'm putting a lot more importance on this time.
See, I'm on the fence. I never use them. They just piss me off.
I feel like they save 40% of the pressure on your knees. So that's why I'm bringing them.
So here's the problem that I run into with them. I feel like I lose the ability to use my hands when I'm climbing up stuff.
Yeah.
And have like fallen because I had trekking poles and didn't have the ability to sort of just like use my hands to grab onto like a branch or a rock or whatever.
I would say more for going down is why I'm going to bring
Yeah.
them. because I've read that they do save 40% of the pressure on your joints.
So I
on
think
the way
I
down.
might bring one. And then the other
Yeah.
thing I thought was like, if I really want, I can just grab a stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. I actually used one on a recent hunt, and one does also make a huge difference.
Yeah.
You don't need two. Well, rifle and ammo. I'm thinking 15 cartridges, but 3 of them will be in my gun, and I might bring a dozen more. Maybe 10 or a dozen. I haven't decided.
That's always the question, how much?
Yeah. And that's, I think, on the more side.
For sure.
But anyways, we could probably talk about that for an hour.
Totally. Yeah, I'm undecided there.
Clothing wise, trying to cut some weight. So I think given it's an August hunt, I'm going to bring the base layers, basically, core heavyweight hoodie. I think I'm going to go Jetstream vest and then the Calvin Down Windstopper hoodie.
Nice.
As like the insurance policy, as Adam Foss calls it.
Yeah.
And then rain gear.
Nice.
Silk weight boxers, base layer again for pants. And then I'm kind of leaning more to like a scent pant because the Timberlines can be quite heavy,
I agree,
more than
yeah.
twice as heavy.
Yeah.
And we're going to be sweating big time.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. I did a over 20 plus kilometer trip sort of as a trial run, and I was wearing those without the base layer.
Yeah.
Sweating like crazy, and I just felt
Yeah.
like it opened up the door for chafing and shit like that. So I think we're
Yeah.
going to have to go down to a lighter pant.
Nobody wants chafing.
No.
Some other smaller items like beanies and sunglasses and gaiters.
Yep.
Socks, Crocs.
Crocs are
A pair
key.
of gloves, probably the cold front, because I think it is more of a early fall type glove anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably only bring one set of gloves.
Yeah, agreed.
Hunting boots with some extra laces.
Laces are key.
Yeah, as you learned in the last one.
Yeah.
Optics.
Hold on, I'll chime in on some of the stuff as you go on through each one.
Okay, so
I think-
that was clothing.
Yeah, so I think I'm doing everything you're doing. I'm thinking about ditching the Calvin Down and just bringing the Calvin Light hoodie,
Mhm.
which is, like you said, it's that insurance policy to have the down one, but it's bulky. That's the con side on that one.
Yeah.
But it's pretty awesome. So it's hard. I think what I'm going to do is, I think you and I, for a few of these items, we're going to bring them up there, at least in the vehicle. And then it's going to be a last minute decision based on, I don't know, just gut feeling and what the weather forecast looks like.
Yeah.
Just trying to think if there's anything else. I think that was the only one thing that I was going to swap out.
Are you bringing your Jetstream vest or like
just
any
the
Jetstream?
vest? So I was thinking, because like you said, the jacket it's a bit heavy, and I really like that jacket. Actually, I like that thing a lot, but it's better for like late fall, winter, early spring. It's a awesome jacket, but I think it's just going to be a bit too much for this one.
Yeah, exactly. I find the weight to pack ratio is very difficult on like when you're talking 10, 11, 12 day hunts.
Yeah.
Everything else, like I'm throwing it in my pack.
Yeah.
But if I can get by on an earlier season hunt by not having something that kind of doesn't pack as well, it's kind of tough, right? It's tough to take that one.
Yeah.
But the vest is a good compromise.
Totally. Yep.
And
It's enough, because I feel like that's kind of the area that you want to have a little bit of extra on to keep you warm. So I figured that with the Calvin Light hoodie and the what's the other hoodie? The heavyweight, the core heavyweight.
Yeah, I love that thing.
That will definitely come. So I think between all of those, I'll be feeling pretty damn good. And one of the things I sort of realized from our trip up to the Yukon, which I've been kind of vague on, and we'll talk about that one in detail once I get a chance to sit down with Jesse and Tash. But it was like we was at minus 25 plus wind chill kind of thing. But the rain gear I felt was like the thing that really sort of like kept everything. It was like having sort of like a thin wall around you. So I think if you are in a dangerous situation, hopefully that doesn't happen. As long as you have the ability to create a fire, you're going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
But if you're in a situation where you're just uncomfortable and you're glassing, that hoodie's going to be nice just so you can sit there and feel like you're, super, super comfy. So that's where it's like, fuck, should I bring it? Should I not? But I think the combination of all these other things will keep us pretty damn warm. So we'll see what happens.
You raised a good point there, though. Like the comfort of being able to glass for, hours, like a whole morning.
Yeah.
could be the difference maker on a successful hunt too.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I think about the, so it'd be base layer, the heavyweight hoodie, the Calvin light hoodie,
Rain gear.
and then rain gear, and also the vest. I feel like that's plenty to stay warm. And then if I need to, just go for a little walk or do some squats or something and warm up. But
yeah,
so many variables. That's why it's hard, man, to pull this thing together. But anyways, that's all I had for thoughts on clothing. We'll keep working on that.
Cool. And so for clothing, it's about 8 pounds, but I think I still had to confirm the weight on a couple things. Maybe, well, not really. Just like a couple pairs of socks and extra base layer. I mean, it shouldn't be much more. It should be within that 10 pounds range.
At least most of this is worn weight too, which should be noted. So it's the extra base layer and vest and stuff that you're not wearing that's going to be in the pack. So
optics was my next group, and that's always a bitch.
Fuck yeah.
So my optics is sitting at 9.82 pounds, and I don't even have a large diameter scope. It's a 65 millimeter. So, you know, I have my stuff in grams right now, so I don't think that's going to help really anybody.
Nice.
I should have it in pounds. But
you could switch it actually. Here, I'll do it while you're talking.
Okay. What's the spotter?
3.7 pounds.
3.7 pounds. That's with the mounting plate. That's a Vortex. And the binos, this is with the harness.
2.97.
Yeah. And those are the Maven B2s, which are kind of long and big ass, but they're
pretty awesome.
They're really cool. Like there's a good offset there.
Yep.
And they're on your chest, so you don't feel it as much. Tripod with the Surui head and bino adapter.
It's 3.12.
3.12. And that's a slick 624 carbon fiber. Like that's a light tripod. But a lot of the weight comes from the head on top.
That's a nice tripod.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that purchase. And then just the lens pen I threw in the bino harness, which is only like 15 grams. It's nothing. But yeah, that's almost 10 pounds right there.
Yeah, that adds up there.
Yeah.
So
and they're essentials. Like
I'm gonna ditch the spotter because you and Garrett will both have spotters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have audio gear because we're gonna be podcasting. So I think that's kind of like the compromise there is like, even my spotter is not great anyways. It would be nice to have it if it fit in there, but it's like, it's not worth it when you guys have two really good ones.
Yeah. And
I've got quite a bit of weight and recording stuff to bring along. So, but binos, I don't know if I'll bring my little tripod, probably not because you've got one. And then lens pen, I'll be bringing that too. That's a must have in your kit for sure. And that's a cheap one. That's like $20 or something.
Yeah, exactly. So not much we can do there. I mean, lucky to have some of this gear for sure.
Yep.
It takes, in my experience, about 5 to 6 years to build that out, right? Unless you're making some solid coin or you're not married. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're in a pretty good spot right now, at least for this hunt.
Yeah. So sheltered sleep system.
Shelter and sleeping bag, Hyperlamina Torch 0F, which probably could be overkill. But it's actually a pretty light bag for what it is. It's not.
I think that'll be good, man. Because if you're hot, you can just open it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'd rather be a little on the safe side.
Yeah.
I hate being cold, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
When I'm sleeping. Sleeping pad, Big Agnes Core, which is almost 800 grams. I'm really thinking about trading that one in on an X-Therm, but the price it's a good kick in the wallet. But I could also save half the weight, and that's like £1. So I'm actually trying to, we'll see. I don't actually need a lot of stuff for this hunt. So that's the only reason I'm thinking about it is because I haven't had to drop a bunch of money in other places.
Yeah.
Anyways.
If Bree's listening to this, you'll have to skip ahead 15 seconds by accident at that point. But yeah.
Skip that. Thermarest Z-Lite sleeping pad. That's the accordion style one that kind of you throw your other one on top. I think I will bring that one again. I know you had one that you're kind of maybe not.
I think I'm going to ditch it.
I think it depends too on like how tough is your sleeping pad. If you're not worried about it, I think you're fine.
Yep. Yeah. And then so you got last one thing here, and then I'll pitch in.
And then the 1/3 of the Hilleberg Katum, and I just said 3 pounds.
Yeah, I could check that while we're chatting here. But so I'm bringing. I think my sleeping bag is roughly the same. It might be a little bit more heavy, not too much. The sleeping pad that I'm going to bring is the Thermarest Pro Light Plus, and it's been good. It's a 4-season one. That one weighs in at, let's see, I'm just going to bring it up here quick. Where was it? 1 pound, 6 ounces. And I think I'll just leave the other one behind. And we're talking about the risk of puncturing your sleeping pad. I think one thing that people should always have that really don't weigh anything is just like a little patch kit, like what you'd have for your bike tube or whatever. You can just throw that in there and that could save you. That's also good for burn holes, as we found out in the TP. And also I was sleeping in front of the stove in the Kifaru there, and a few sparks hit my sleeping bag, but we just threw some of those things on there. It just keeps things from getting ripped in that.
Things dangerous, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't put your coffee mug on there.
Or your hunting partner's coffee mug that you borrowed.
Garrett had it made with that double-walled titanium
I know.
thing. Like he could put it on the stove and heat it up.
What do you think those weigh, the Count mugs?
I don't know. I feel like with mugs, it's they're all pretty light.
Yeah. So we could bring
it's more
those.
just the space thing.
Yeah.
I've seen you know those ones that accordion in?
Mm-hmm.
They're like cones.
Yeah.
I kind of like the look of those. You just like
that's
squish it and it folds into nothing.
So like with the mugs that I have, I stuff shit inside of them. So make use of it, like my little
so it's
micro
not wasted space.
stove fits right inside of those little mugs there.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can always stuff something in there.
Yeah, use it as a scope cover or something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go too much into food. I guess my only point there is I'm trying to hit like 2 pounds a day.
That seems reasonable.
And my other point is that a 3 pound or a 3 liter water bladder is a heavy bastard. Over 6 pounds.
It's crazy
for that water, but that's going in and out. Like it's constantly consumed, right?
Yeah.
So, and you miss it when you don't have it.
That's the thing. So it all depends on how much water we have around us too. So if we can run the risk of it just being, Garrett was talking about bringing the Nalgene bottle and just ditching the bladder if we're close to water somewhere, which is probably a good idea.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll talk more about the meal thing, I think, as we get closer here. And I'm going to make a real effort to actually make some of these meals again ahead of time and see how much food it is, because I'm always bringing too much, which isn't a bad thing because you can just burn it if you don't want to eat extra pasta or whatever.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like, why bring all the weight if it's like two servings too big, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's kind of useless.
Those breakfast skillets for sure. I never ate a full breakfast skillet in the morning.
I don't think either of you did you?
And I like them. I actually did like them. Like they're just like potatoes, bacon, and eggs on it tastes pretty good in the morning.
Yeah.
But like I'm not a huge breakfast person to begin with. So I was thinking Garrett and I should split one every morning and it's a good kickstart. It's a lot of calories.
Yeah.
And then you only have to pack like 5 to 6 of them each.
Yeah,
save some weight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do oats again for breakfast because I'm not a big breakfast guy either.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a good, just a good solid fuel starter for in the morning, just to throw that down. And yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And then you get some variation with different spices and fruits and dry fruits that you throw in there. So I like that. I'll stick with that. I think, again, I brought too much last time. So
yeah, the one disadvantage I see with the oatmeal in the pot is that it's a bitch to clean out.
Yeah,
it's just
if you're next to water, it's fine. It's quick.
Exactly. And you can heat it up and melt it off and all that with some water in there. But
yeah, what I did last time was I had an extra T-shirt. I just ripped it and turned it into a rag, and then just use that. And it's actually super quick that way. If you're using your hand, it's like kind of like tacky glue on there, but you can just rinse it out with the little rag that you have, and then rinse that out and just hang it up to dry somewhere. Problem solved. But I hear you on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump down to the gear because it's kind of still the bigger stuff. Stove. I don't know if we have to go into detail on what stoves we're bringing.
No, I don't think so. It's all on these things are on the website.
Stove, game bag kit, which is Caribou Gear, Carnivore 2. Headlamp. I traded my headlamp. I think I had a Petzl Tika or something like that, which are generally like for the money, good headlamps.
I've got one of those for a backup.
Yeah, and I've never really had too much issues, but I don't know. The one I had now, I've had 2 experiences now where I almost killed myself. Like sun went down, pitch black, couldn't see anything, switched the batteries.
Yeah, nothing.
And I don't know if I'm putting like the old batteries back in or what, but I had a hell of a time.
Maybe you should give it one more go, but that's definitely a good one for a backup.
Yeah. But I bought a Black Diamond Storm, and that thing is like, it's like a halogen light bulb on my forehead. I love it.
Nice. The one I've got is pretty good. I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head, but
I think yours is a Black Diamond too.
Yeah,
it's got the touch thing on the side. Yeah.
Might be the same one. It's nice. And then you've got, there's different colors. Actually, I should try and remember to look that up for the next time, because there's green, red, and blue, and they all have different uses.
Different
I think the
purpose.
blue is actually good for hunting because it doesn't disrupt deer as much if you're hiking in early in the morning and stuff like that.
Cool.
Anyways, there was some, and then some were good for reading maps, and yeah, it's kind of cool. I'll have to look at that again.
Sweet. I've got the North Arm Mallard, which is new for me. That's what the latest.
That's
North
what I'm
Arm.
bringing too. Yeah.
Cool knife. It's only like, I don't know, 93 grams, but that's with the case. So it's like 60 without the case.
Yeah. Anytime someone's needed a knife and I put that in their hand, they're like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
It just feels good in your hand.
Fixed blade.
Yeah, it's sweet.
First aid kit, TP, Soul Bivy, emergency bivy. That thing's so small and light, it should go everywhere with you. Bear spray, glassing pad. Yeah, I don't know, something just small to sit on. I'm really debating whether or not I should bring that Helinox chair, the Zero, which is like, it is very light. And every time I've sat in that thing when I'm out there, and I know we're going to be sitting at camp and I'm going to be wishing I brought that thing.
Yeah.
So that's one of those luxury items that I'm really just going to cut just for the weight, right?
Yeah.
Could be something I regret.
Yeah, it's a tough one because there's certain luxury items like that one that's like to come back to something like that and sit down. And
just
you
to
could
glass,
probably
I could glass for 6 hours in that thing.
And you could probably rent out time to me and Garrett for a set price too, because we'll be hurting to sit in something nice.
$50 an hour. And then the Katadyn Be Free water filter, which is more of a as you go kind of emergency one. But you guys will both have a pump, so I don't think I'm going to bring a third pump.
Don't, because we'll just use mine.
So
but bring the extra one just in case it break mine or something.
Any comments on that stuff?
Nope. That all looks good.
I realized that I'll probably have an extra fuel in there or 2 as well, like a bigger one.
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure if I'm going to do 2 small ones or what.
Yeah.
I've always brought too much, but
I think I'm going to go with small ones. And I don't think I'm going to bring that lantern thing. If one of us brings one, fine.
Garrett's going to probably bring his, I'd imagine. They're small, but those are really nice things to have too.
Electronics, I got my Sony A series with a couple lenses. One's 16 millimeter 1.4, which you could basically take pictures in the dark with no flash.
Yeah.
And then the zoom. Each piece, so of those 3 pieces, they're all about 400 grams each, which definitely adds some weight, but I just can't imagine not. Like, every time I brought my camera, I'm so thankful that I have those pictures. So it's a real struggle for me to leave that behind.
Yeah.
And then as far as other key electronics, Motorola radio, just a cheap one, DeLorme InReach, and a Garmin 64S, and then some type of battery pack, like the Dark Energy or a Anchor Power Core or something like that. iPhone lens blower for the camera. Learned something from Connor.
Yeah.
And then, I just go into some little things after that. I've got a couple organizers. So one of them, I put my license and ID tags, like a bore snake and compass, lighters, flint steel, fire packets, nitro, like latex gloves and tape and, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Extra belt buckle for your pack.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I have one from the Kifaru that I'm just going to throw in there.
Good call. Yeah, the Mountain Hauler has a nice little organizer built into the hood, which I've been making use of.
It's cool out. It just folds out.
Yeah, flips right out.
And then I've got a smaller one, which will be more personal stuff like toothbrush, wet wipes, chapstick, I don't know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Extra batteries and a little sunscreen just for the nose and the face if we're out kind of getting blasted in sun the whole time. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. Like, without the gun, I'm at about, and I do have to add a few more things, but I'm at about 64 pounds total. 4.5 pounds is worn. That doesn't include my boots or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Consumables, I'm at 18, not including the water. I mean, once you start including some of this stuff, it's back up to 70, 80 pounds, right?
Man.
So I think when we're comparing, we just got to make sure we're we're on the same apples to apples, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really control kind of what everybody's guns weigh or whatever. So
Yeah, well, I guess it just depends on the only thing really splitting is the tent. So if somebody wants to bring something heavier, I guess that's up to them. But
yeah, so maybe we kind of like split out like what are the standards. We'll take out the guns, and then we'll try to make sure at least we're all on the same page as far as splitting tents and optics and like the key items. And then from there, it's kind of like if you want to bring your own extra luxury stuff, like if I want to bring that chair or whatever, that should be kind of a separate thing, right? Like but I think a team approach is important, and kind of coming up with that net weight and dividing it, and then kind of setting that foundation. Otherwise,
I'm reluctant on this because I ended up with way more than I should have last time.
And that's exactly what I think.
Lighter.
That's what we need to try to avoid.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean though. So you're going ultra more on the light side, and then you get punished for having to share.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we just all have to be on the same page in terms of like what's actually important, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it comes down to, so the tent is an obvious one.
Yeah.
The optics, we're sort of, you and Garrett are bringing the same thing. And then I've got recording gear. So I might be a little bit lighter, but I'm bringing wireless mics to put on you guys and shit like that. So we're probably going to be pretty damn close. What else do you think would fall into that category?
So you had tent.
Optics. That was it.
Optics. Yeah, the rest of the shelter stuff is personal.
Yeah. I might just bring a little ground sheet too. Sometimes that's nice to throw in the vestibule or wherever just to put your pack on top of.
Yeah.
Which is pretty light.
Yeah, I guess it's all the communal stuff. Like even that would be a communal, like a...
Yeah, throw it down because that would cover the entire vestibule, which would be nice. And then you can throw that in the pack too if you're out. It's just something to sit under and has a few uses.
Electronics possibly, but I think for safety, electronics, everyone will bring their own anyways. Camera gear, we could start getting into that, but I guess...
Oh, we'll come back to that one at another time, but yeah.
Yeah. But it depends too on like the importance of, you know, who or how many cameras and lenses, right? I knocked my camera down big time, like in terms of size and weight.
Yeah.
So that was huge. And I think that was looking forward to not having to pack that big thing around this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we'll see where everybody lands, I guess. I mean, if there's opportunity, like on the off chance that, you know, one of us is super high and there's a lens sitting around, then maybe someone else can put the lens in their pack or whatever, shift around audio gear, maybe shift around some optics, tent. Yeah, I think those are the key items.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we're off to a good start, man. And I'm just going to keep wearing this goddamn backpack every day. And I'm at 50 now. I think within the next 3 weeks, I want to be up around 60. I'm just going to keep going until it just feels normal. That's my plan. And going around with 50 the last week and a half has felt fine. But this is only 4 kilometers, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like what we're going to be doing, but there's quite a bit of elevation that I've been doing up and down for that one. So I think that's important to just not go out there, have only worn your pack a couple of times and then be like, oh shit, this doesn't feel good. So we'll keep refining it, keep going out there. Yeah. Hope for the best when we actually land on the ground up there.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
The more, you know, everything feels, it's the opposite of foreign. Familiar. Thanks. Familiar as far as your pack goes, the happier you're going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm excited, man. I like this part. I like all the, it's challenging to thin your pack and then, you know, the next part of it is like, well, where do you put these various items in your pack so that your pack feels good, like not having too much weight in the bottom.
That's super important.
Yeah. So putting certain things in the middle of your pack. I think what I'm going to do, I think with the Sitka, the Mountain Hauler, I think they intend the bottom to be used to like get at your tent easy. But I actually found that super useful now to have my 2 Sea Summit dry bags in the bottom. So if I need clothes or if I need my stove, I can just whip those out real quick, take out what I need, jam it back in there, zip it up, and then you're on your way again.
Yeah.
And then other stuff like food you can put up in the hood, and then my rain gear is in the outer pouch on the back, or I don't know what the hell you call that section.
Right. And so then your tent sleeping bag ultimately ends up kind of in the middle.
And whereas you should probably have most of your weight, I think, anyways. Is that right? Yeah.
Middle against your spine is the best, but your water will be there too. And I think what I did last time was I kept the water and the food all as close to my back as I could in the middle.
Yeah.
And then everything else was kind of like
packed around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the approach I'll do. Because man, it's handy to have one more entry point into your pack.
Yeah.
So
food and water. That's a lot of weight right there.
Yeah.
I think that's the bulk of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fortunately, you kind of eat through it.
Mm-hmm.
So by day 5,
you get to a point where you're like, I just got to eat this shit, man.
Yeah.
Or burn it or whatever you need to do, because it's just too much at a certain point.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be burning food if you're not certain of your outcome, but it's good to have a couple extra days for the unknown of the weather conditions when we fly out too. We could be stuck there for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah, I mean, you're still packing around the same amount of weight. It's just not in the food bag anymore.
Yeah. Just got to carry it for a couple of days and then get rid of it.
Yeah.
Nice. Sweet. Fitness side of things, I needed some motivation. I booked a 22-kilometer trail race in July 7th. So I'm feeling pretty motivated again.
Cool.
Getting my bike in for a tune-up. That thing's been long overdue to get in the shop. And so we start burning around on that, and legs will be feeling pretty damn good. But again, still have to work on that upper body and core strength to be bouncing around on rocks and shit like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I've been getting the bike out a little more. I love that lakeshore in Kelowna here.
I want
pretty nice rides.
My idea is for you to create a wind tunnel for me, and I'm going to follow you on my mountain bike.
Well, you should be able to do it with a mountain bike.
Mine's it's a cross country, so you can lock out the front fork and that.
Yeah.
I might actually, I was asking the guy if he could recommend some tires that are, more for like just trail and road riding a little bit on that bike. I don't know if he said
like a touring tire.
Kind of, so you get a bit more tread on the side and it's flatter in the middle. So
sweet.
Have that just so I can get a little less drag. But yeah, looking forward to doing that because it's overdue. Couldn't keep me off my bike for most of my life, so I need to get back out there.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's a good ride, and I've been doing a lot of like leg exercises. I don't think I can explain them all here, but a lot of band stuff, which is like hips and glutes.
Yep.
Like side steps and lat raises and all that kind of stuff, which I mentioned before. And there's a lot of like body weight stuff you can do too. There's a trainer in Kelowna here that she has a really good Instagram, Roz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she actually, I'll show you, I bookmarked it on our page. But
she was the one that we were going to try and do the training with, but we just couldn't line up our schedules. It's too hard to be on a regimented, Tuesday, Thursday kind of thing. But maybe we should do a couple of just like drop-in classes
just to learn what exercises. Like it's not necessarily just for, you're not going to get huge after one session, but
no, you need someone
arm you with the info.
Yeah. Tell you how you should, your posture and what you should be watching for, and do a couple of those. And I think that would be pretty helpful for both of us, really.
Yeah.
Do more of that high intensity training. And I think that would help. So
as a lot of dumbbell stuff like stationary lunges and step ups and squats and deadlifts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've kind of switched more to that because I feel like I don't, I'm not an ultra marathoner or anything like that. And, I might have to, rest a little bit, but I never feel like I'm that, like from a cardio perspective, I'm not that concerned. Like I'm always there.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just like I've never had the whole like knee thing, and how I've been having a bit of trouble with that over the last year is totally foreign.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating. So I'm kind of moving more to like that strength training around the knees, building up those muscles. Some of that's, like I said, you don't need weights. Some of them you do. Some of them is pack and going on a hike.
Yeah.
But like a combination of all that stuff. And then like obviously keep rowing and biking just to keep the cardio in the right direction and kind of building. But I'm definitely shifting more to like a strength building around the knees and legs area.
Good plan, because that's sort of the, well, it's causing you some concern. So best to get that out of your head so you're not thinking about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of been my focus lately.
Good, man.
Every night I go through the same routine. Like I'll have multiple routines. So some of the routines are, you know, the weights and all that kind of stuff. But regardless of whether it was a hike that day or a bike or weights or whatever, every day before I go to bed, same stretch routine, same band routine.
Yeah.
Every day.
Good.
So, and that's making a difference for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's that damn office, man. I swear it all comes back to working in an office.
Oh yeah, I guarantee. Yeah. That's the case for most folks, man. It's just you're sitting in the same position all day long, so you have to incorporate some variation into your day. And it's the world we live in.
And being over 30, I guess.
That too, for real. We're still young, but yeah, these things start to. They're there. Yeah,
it's all good until you hit the 30 train.
Yeah, man. But it's a good thing we hunt, because we probably wouldn't be putting so much time into this. So it's for our overall health, good thing to be doing.
Yeah. Goals. Hashtag goals.
Hashtag goals. Nice. So yeah, I got to make a sort of training plan for this half marathon trail run. I'm going to hate myself for doing that, but doing it. And
just don't when you feel it.
Yeah.
Just don't push too far past that and hurt yourself.
A couple of weeks ago, I did a 18 kilometer.
Yeah.
It was fine. I hadn't really trained to, I had still do my usual runs and stuff like that, but just wanted to see how far I could go. 18 was kind of the wall that I knew I needed to stop. So I know that if I up my training to go and do a 22 kilometer, should be fine as long as I prepare myself. So
didn't you already do a 22?
Oh, you mean like a race?
Yeah.
I did it's a 20, half marathon is technically like 21 kilometers. So this is like an extra kilometer that they tacked on for whatever reason.
Just cause.
But not a trail run though. This is different. So it's a lot harder.
Yeah. It's more dynamic.
Yeah, totally. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, the 18 I was talking about, that was all on a trail. So
cool.
Yeah, I feel good about it, but got to start training. And I think that's overall going to help me for the sheep hunt, as long as I don't train too hard and fuck myself up. So
yeah, I mentioned it multiple times. I mean, I never had issues until I started trying to run.
Yeah, it's weird, man, because I never had IT band either until I guess that was a year and a half ago after Christmas, and had to work through that too. And it's brutal. Yeah. It's frustrating as hell because especially I worked myself up to a point where I love running so much, man, like for multiple reasons. And then when you can't do it, especially when you've put in all that time
and you
to
feel
get to
you
a
can.
point that you're really good at running. And like I was going out and just running 14K for fun at that point.
Yeah.
And then just one day, it's just like my fucking legs stopped working, man. I had to swing it to get home. It was brutal.
Yeah.
And then took, I don't know, probably 6 months to recover from that one. So I still kind of is in the back of my head all the time now that it's a possibility. So I have to be careful.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I lean to the at least one trekking pole, just to, because you don't have to be running. Like you can get that biking, you can get it hiking, you can packing or coming downhill. It's just more like an overuse thing, right?
Yeah.
So given the length of time, like agree, you have to do something all the time to prep for this. But when you're out there, I don't want to end up anything you can do to kind of ease that overuse, because it's going to be a grind.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, one pole.
Yeah, I think that's probably the wise thing to do. Nice, cool. Man. Well, I think we covered a lot more than I thought we would, and hopefully people find that useful.
Yeah, kind of whip through some of those items quick. But if you have any questions, just let us
know. Yeah, we have to. We're going to update these and get them back on the website. We had a really old packing list on there from a couple of years back now, so we'll refine these and we'll let you guys know when they're back up on the website, so you can check them out and you can look at what's in the packing list. And then if you're really curious, you can go to our gear list. There's one for myself and one for Kelly, and you can actually, further investigate some of the stuff that we're using. So go check it out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers.
Cheers. This episode of Rookie Hunter was brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Sitka Gear, and North Arm Knives. As always, it is hosted by Kelly Mullner and myself, Mike Peterson. It is recorded, edited, and produced at Mountain Stream Audio Productions in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. Original music written by the one and only Kelly Molnar with help from Graham Ord, Darcy Booth, and Chip Sleedermean. If you want to help us out, there's one thing you can do. You can go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And don't forget to subscribe. For more on the show, head over to our website, theRookieHunter.com.
Thank you.